Hello everyone. This is just going to be a short supporting video for the upcoming tirade of crime and criminality for the Leviathan that I've been thinking about and processing for a while as to how I want to talk about it. Is Again, I'm reading from the public safety library here, and we're talking about. I'm into, so this is page 13 to 26. So on the homicide and other violent offenses. Uh, so this is men are more often the victims of robberies, while women are more likely to be victims of criminal harassment. Um, Police reported data also indicates that some notable gender differences exist among other categories of violent crimes such as robbery, criminal harassment, and uttering threats. According to police reported rates, women are the victims of robbery about half as often as men, but were almost 3 times more likely to suffer criminal harassment. In 2008, while males accounted for 65% of robbery victims, females were victims of 73% of criminal harassment crimes. When rates of uttering threats were more similar to men, and women 150, so for men 184 per 100,000 population, and women 156 per 100,000 population. There were some differences between the sexes in terms of who was identified as the perpetrator. Similar to patterns seen amongst physical data and sexual assaults, female victims of criminal threats were more often victimized by a spouse or dating partner than were male victims. In particular, the proportion of females threatened by a spouse or ex-spouse was 6 times higher compared to their male counterparts. Portions of female 18% threatened by ex-spouses were 6 times higher compared to their male counterparts, 3%. The proportion of female victims threatened by a current or former dating partner is 12%, and also about 6 times higher than for male victims, 2% of uttering threat offenses. In contrast, males were about twice as likely as females to be threatened by a stranger. Now, again, I have not ever threatened anyone, and I've had panic attacks like a lot of other people, and in this instance, a bit of nostalgia looking through online. It's not enforceable. You can't enforce criminal harassment online. You can't. There's no way. The onus is up to the individual person to block and then forget. In this particular circumstances, if I'm going to defend myself further, because it takes a while to think about this stuff. I saw a pattern of suicidal behavior, and I saw fit upon myself to intervene and voice my feelings, irregardless. As to how I did it was not the greatest. I should have used a different tactic. But frankly, I don't like being ignored, and how I was treated in this relationship with this suicidal person, repeating the same behaviors in the relationship, which was not a casual relationship by any means, as described in the discovery. And when someone says, "Have you had a near-death experience?" that is not a threat. That's a question. It's a misinterpretation. And the other parties involved even admitted that they were not threatened. They thought it was funny that I would say such things. And the frequency of messages is more indicative of someone having a panic attack or a meltdown than of violent behavior. If there's no previous violent behavior, then there's no reason to be charged for something like criminal harassment. Like, fuck off. This is a fucking waste of time. Anyways, summary. Police reported data shows that males and females experience similar rates of violent victimization. I did not victimize anybody. And then thereafter, it didn't continue with the pattern. I've sought help. Well, I didn't seek help. Help is imposed upon me for other reasons because of the stresses of life. And frankly, intelligent people don't go to jail. And I am not going to sit here and take that fucking charge. I do not plead guilty by any means. It's a waste of time to waste other people's time. And shame on he who thinks evil of it, because I'm just trying to get laid in a lot of instances. The way the culture is now is way too sensitive, and as I've stated before in other videos, female legal manipulation. Women use the state in as a replacement for strong real male role models, and which results in further manipulation and waste of time and money, waste of the court's money, and so on and so forth. Okay, so it's going on through here. Males were more likely to be victims of more serious assaults and have a weapon used against them, while females were more likely to be victims of common assault, resulting in fewer injuries than their male counterparts. Furthermore, female victims of physical assault were more often victimized by a spouse, whereas males were more likely assaulted by someone who was not known to them, such as a stranger. In addition, females were 10 times more likely than males to be victims of sexual assault. I have not ever sexually assaulted a woman. I have not ever committed an act of rape or statutory rape. And I put this on Instagram because, as crazy as it is, this is the world that we live in. And, of course, by the guys, as soon as you put it up on YouTube, it's public record. Anyone can see it. I am not who the law and who my ex-girlfriend thinks that I am. I am far better than that. And if I'm going to say something out of arrogance and out of confidence, you don't deserve me. The world does not deserve me. If I'm going to say something egotistical like that, I've put so much work into myself, and I've suffered so much throughout my life, and I've had multiple near-death experiences. The stresses of life, they get to you, and I want to see the best in other people. So if I see someone, the Good Samaritan, if I see someone that's in pain, I'm going to try and intervene. I'm going to try and stop that. Simple as be. And all the women that I've ever been around, including the dates that went sour and where I was seriously horny, when they told me to stop and take them home, I did 100% of the time. I'm still friends with some of them. Again, women have become so weak, and the culture reinforces this subjectivity and this victimhood mentality. But in cowardice and in fear, that is not my problem, right? Their feelings are not my problem. I'm not responsible for how other people feel. It's entirely up to the individual to find a center, right? To find self-confidence, or to be not afraid, right? Don't be afraid of me, okay? That's what I would have to say. I have furthermore to read on this, and I'm reading it in bits and bytes here. But if you're afraid of me, God help you. Anyways, bits and bytes, I'm going to call this one. I'm not sure what I'm going to call this one yet, but I think you get the point.